Put a smile on your face when you're moving from place to place. Good morning, good morning, morning, good morning, morning.
Good morning and welcome to the morning show on Tobago Updates. We have a beautiful show for you today. My name is Adana Kumbi and I'll be taking you through this morning's show along with my guest, my co-host, Mr.
Cricket.
Marcus.
Mr. Cricket.
Mr. Cricket. He identifies himself as Mr. Cricket.
All because today's Friday, you know, today's a sporting,
Well, of course.
a sporting segment. Well, let me say good morning. On my boot paper is Marcus Daniel, but my alias is Mr. Cricket. I'm so happy to be here this morning, Adana.
Yes, and you know this weekend is a weekend full of activities.
Yeah.
But we also have a major challenge right now, eh? We have a major challenge.
What could that challenge be, right, Adana?
Oh, gosh.
Is it looking white?
Yeah, it's looking white. And right now we don't want to see us looking white.
Yeah. Trust me. And you know, just yesterday I was having a discussion with someone, right? In that my vehicle is roadworthy, right? But the only thing I don't have to make it officially roadworthy.
Sure you want to say this?
No, I'm telling you, it's just to get that sticker. But have you ever seen the line to get the car?
I know.
And to get the sticker?
Yes.
And that's a deterrent. And then some people will say, why didn't go earlier? But it's always busy at that station.
Yes.
And most people like to go to that station because it's very thorough. You know? And I mean, I can understand the frustration and the plight of a lot of motorists. We are battling so many different things, Adana.
Yes.
The little $2 they have or little $500 they have. You ain't want to go and pay that with that ticket. You have books to buy, you have things to do.
I know,
that is
right.
essential to your family and yourself in that sense. And then we have some I really don't want to call them any kind of names because some will say that they are there doing their jobs. But Adana, and we have officers in Tobago.
We do, and I'm thinking how it is the officers in Tobago don't carry out these same types of...
But I want to know, because if it is that, right, let's say you're undermanned in Tobago, right, you probably request 1 or 2. But after the guys who have come from Trinidad are returned to Trinidad, what happens to the licensing on the road in Tobago?
In Tobago, exactly.
Yeah, what happens? So is it that they will come every 3 months? And what upsets me the most, and I made that point as well, I may pass through, let's say a roadblock, down in Shaw Park, I pass through that I get through. Then I go on Uncom Point, I go through a next roadblock again. Now I get through already again, you know. And the problem is just the inconvenience of it as well, because you have to stay in traffic for a while because obviously they're stopping all the cars and our roads are narrow. Then they try to go through a back road, you see 2 of them across there again. So you just caught up in traffic wholly, unnecessarily. Right? They can probably give me a pass to say, well, I've been checked already,
right.
So you'd rather check me again.
Exactly.
But that's not the case. That's not the case. And I'm not for one saying, but they're not supposed to be doing their jobs because there are persons out there who they don't have no license, yes, and they don't have no insurance driving on the road. But I mean, we are law-abiding citizens in Tobago. Mostly law-abiding citizens. So I can understand the frustration of Tobagonians. And on this big weekend, in fact, where we have Commonwealth games starting today, and you know, once you see the white shirts, nobody driving.
And it's the same thing happened around Jazz.
And then
every time we have an event, that's how I feel.
And then
that's my personal opinion.
Even if that may not be the case, the perception is that, hey, you're stifling me, right? Do all the jobs, but I mean, it have officers here who basically, I mean, remember Patrick was around? Patrick was busy and he was very competent at his job. I mean, you don't want a situation where we stifle the Commonwealth Games. We have already hyped it up. It's the first time ever happening in Trinidad and Tobago.
Exactly.
And you know we like to host when it comes to Tobago.
Yes.
You understand? So, white shirts, I mean, give me a break today.
Easy up. Oh, gosh. So, guys, stay with us. Listen, don't forget to share the live, okay? But here's what. We're going to go into our birthday segments because we have a few birthdays to shout out today, and this segment is sponsored by KFC.
This is your birthday shoutouts on Tobago Updates, sponsored by KFC.
Yes, Madonna birthday shoutouts.
Right, so we have this young gentleman, Mr. John Phillips. His birthday is actually tomorrow and he's turning 84.
84 years of age.
Happy birthday, Mr. Phillips. Happy birthday to you. Right? Who do we have next? This is Akeem Smith. Akeem Smith, we say happy birthday to you, coming out from all of us here at the Tobago Updates television. Who's next? We have Miss Kerry Starr. Kerry Starr, happy birthday to you, my dear. Yeah, she does look like a star. Of course she does. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday my dear. Who is next? Who do we have? This is Miss Tunika Akpala. I hope I pronounced the name correctly. What a beautiful smile you carry. What a beautiful smile. Happy birthday to all of you. All happy birthday. We wish you all the very best.
Yes, of course. Always good celebrating birthdays.
Of course.
Birthday shoutouts on Tobago Updates, sponsored by KFC.
From the experts that created the Zinger sandwich comes the KFC Crispy Barbecue Zinger.
The only one I see is you.
Cheddar cheese, crispy onions, the most delicious Kentucky Fried Chicken, and barbecue sauce. Get ready for a whole new level of flavor.
Thank you for staying with us here on the morning show on Tobago Updates. Marcus, who do we have on our program this morning?
Yes.
We have Miss Deborah Cook-Warner. She is the district health visitor for Tobago Breastfeeding Coordinator. We also have Miss Akelia McCletchy. She's a registered nurse and a breastfeeding counselor. And they're going to be talking about, this week, I guess, I'm not sure what week it is, but I know World Breastfeeding Week 2023 is somewhere close by. Right, so we're going to be talking to them this morning. Also, Charlie-Ann Sincere, who is the director of Girls with Roots, and Whitney Hindman, program coordinator for Girls with Youth.
And of course, jumping into the sporting segment.
Of course, your segment.
My favorite segment. We're going to be talking with the Honorable Minister of Sports and Culture, Community Development, Honorable Shamfa Koju. We're going to talk about Commonwealth Games and, of course, the ministry's sports camp here in Tobago.
Yes, guys, so we have a beautiful show for you, so stay with us. But before we get into our guests, of course, we're going to go to the news in 90 seconds with our very own Candice Jackson.
The news in 90 seconds is brought to you by Flow, working for you on Tobago's newest fiber network.
Thank you, Adana and Marcus. I am Candice Jackson, and here is your news in 90 seconds for Friday, 4th August 2023. Despite a direct order from the Chief Secretary, the Licensing Division successfully hosted its town hall meeting with the public at the Scarborough Library. Yesterday evening, a memo was issued from the Chief Secretary to the Chief Administrator banning the use of any THA-owned or rented property by the Licensing Division. According to the release, the Chief Secretary had no objections to the Licensing Department carrying out lawful functions on the island, but stated the processes used must carry out those functions and cannot be unlawful. The meeting, however, was not disrupted and came to a natural conclusion. And meanwhile, after the ACP Collis Hazel said that the police did not require permission to conduct operations in Tobago, Chief Secretary Fali Augustine stated that it is not a matter of permission, but of courtesy. Speaking at last night's full disclosure, Augustine criticized the ongoing licensing exercise in Tobago. The police are supposed to collaborate with the THA, not just pay lip service, according to the Chief Secretary. He said the timing was bad and accused the Licensing Division of acting inconsistently. Augustine also questioned the Licensing Division's integrity, claiming that despite being managed by the THA, they appear to be taking orders from elsewhere. And finally, the Corland Beach volleyball facility is complete. It was officially handed over to the THA yesterday evening, one day ahead of the Commonwealth Games opening. The remarkable feat of constructing this facility was accomplished in just 40 days. George Leacock, chairman of the THA Task Force for Tobago 2023, commended the entire team for the outstanding efforts in turning this project into a reality. Chief Secretary Fali Augustine expressed his excitement as he unveiled the facility, eagerly anticipating its positive impact on the island's sports tourism product in years to come. And that concludes your news in 90 seconds.
The news in 90 seconds is brought to you by Flow, working for you on Tobago's newest fiber network.
Tobago, after freeness is more speed and better TV. Get a free Samsung smartphone and free installation, plus 200 megabits per second, Paramount Plus, and more for only $299 with a select 200 plan from Flow. Visit online at discoverflow.co today.
Thank you, Candice, for that. Our news in 90 seconds. And of course, at the end there, really good news. Learning that the volleyball court is completed and handed over. And we're heading into, of course, the Commonwealth Games this weekend. Right, so we're heading on over in Tobago in focus. But before we go, we are asking you to share the live, share the live, share the live.
For those who have plans to pursue tertiary education or are already enrolled, there is a Department of Advanced Training that aids with grants and bursaries. This department exists within the Division of Education, Research and Technology.
We provide financial assistance to persons who decide to pursue tertiary education or who are pursuing tertiary education. We also provide persons and advisory service to persons who require that type of advice, both financial as well as career guidance. And we try to also provide persons with placement. For those persons who would have actually received funding from us, we try to place them in facilitate their placement in jobs.
To access these services, one must apply to an institution of study and the institution must be accredited. In order to be facilitated, the program being pursued must also be accredited.
The idea is that we want to see that the person, whoever the person is and whatever the person, the institution is, the important thing is that the institution is accredited and the program is accredited. But much more than that, that the person is also pursuing something that would be of benefit to Tobago and in Trinidad and Tobago for that matter.
The assistance being offered by the department has a wide range. Assistance can be anywhere from tuition expenses to living expenses. It can also include meals, transportation, books, and so forth. An applicant needs to state what they require and what the expenses are that need to be covered. The application will then be vetted and it will be determined what assistance you will receive. You can connect with the department via the THA website, tha.dert.gov.tt, or through the division's head office at 299-0781.
Guys, and thank you for staying with us on the morning show on Tobago Updates. I am Adana Kumbi, and of course in studio we have our guest with us this morning. As I said, we have Miss Deborah Cook Warner, and let me tell you something about this lady. She has been practicing for over 44 years in the healthcare industry, right? And she has been, she's a registered nurse, 14 years as a licensed midwife, 10 years community service as a health visitor and district health visitor. And she's a breastfeeding counselor, which is what we're going to be talking about this morning, the importance of healthy breastfeeding, right? Also, we have in studio with us Miss Akelia McClatchy. She's a registered nurse, and she's also a breastfeeding counselor. And we're going to be talking about, as I said, the importance of healthy or safe breastfeeding as we are in the week of World Breastfeeding Week 2023. So yes. Welcome, guys, to the program.
Thank you. Good morning to the viewing public.
Right. So tell us a little bit about, I didn't even know that there was something called Breastfeeding Week, right? And so I want to know a little bit more about it, you know. Tell me what is it about? What are we trying to promote? And where do we start?
So World Breastfeeding Week is celebrated across the world from the 1st of August to the 7th of August. It is a week where we have activities. We highlight the importance of breastfeeding. We encourage mothers to breastfeed, and we bring awareness to the community, to the mothers, because breastfeeding is important to mothers. It's important to the community and it's important to the general public as a whole, right? So it's celebrated every year. The theme this year is enabling breastfeeding, making a difference with working women. So the theme this year focuses on the working woman, right? We want to encourage mothers to breastfeed, even if they're at work, right?
How does this work out though? Like what is the idea behind encouraging? Because I know sometimes it's a challenge. You know, sometimes we have to express and bottle feed. But you're saying that the preference is really breastfeed, the actual physical breastfeeding. So what is the idea behind getting working mothers? Because if I'm out work between 8 to 4 and my baby's probably in the daycare or in somebody else's care? What is the idea or the genesis behind getting that to work? Because I know it's obviously going to be a challenge, right? So what are the ideas you have or the discussions you've had around that? I know that's the theme this year. So what are the discussions that they have?
So expressing, because you said expressing, so expressing the breast milk and feeding via the bottle is quite fine, and that is what we are promoting.
Okay, good.
Because we talk about exclusive breastfeeding for the first 6 months, so it could include express bottle feeds, right? And then you introduce your complementary feeds from 6 months onwards, and encourage breastfeeding for a further 2 years and beyond.
Okay.
So we want in the workspace that employers give the employees opportunity, that break time, that paid break time, to express breast milk so they can store for their nursing babies, right? And also, we want them to facilitate the space, because it's not just about the time, we need the space.
Right.
We don't need a toilet to you cannot express breast milk in a toilet.
And sanitary, right?
Yes. So we need the space, the environment, private environments, because you don't want other co-workers just intruding every minute, somebody coming in.
Right.
So you need a private space so employers could facilitate employees with that.
So this is a wide conversation, or this is a conversation we need to have with the employment society in Trinidad and Tobago, because you really want to provide that level of comfort and safety, because as you said, you don't want to have a space like a common area where everybody can access, because you really do need that privacy as well. So both of you are breastfeeding counselors. Tell me a little bit about that practice and what is expected. What do you do as a breastfeeding counselor? What can I express as a breastfeeding mother from a breastfeeding counselor?
So we do training. So we are currently in the process of becoming baby friendly. And when we say baby friendly, it means that the hospital promotes only breastfeeding. Now we know that there are some mothers who may not be able to breastfeed, but the aim is to get as much mothers as possible so the rates could go up, because we know of the benefits of breastfeeding, critical, very important benefits, not only to the baby, but also to the mother and the community, as I said earlier. Now, the aim is to become baby friendly. And when we say baby friendly, it means an institution that promotes breastfeeding. With this, we follow a 10-step. So the 10-step are the steps that will guide you towards becoming baby friendly, right? In order to do this, we have to first have a policy, which we are currently working on, and we must train a person. So the 10-step guides us into becoming baby friendly, right? There's also antenatal care, because you know that we have to educate the mothers during that period of time, right? There's also parts that has to do with the hospital. So we encourage mothers to initiate breastfeeding within the first hour of life. And we know that when we initiate breastfeeding within the first hour of life, the possibility of you continuing breastfeeding is enhanced, right? The aim is to increase the breastfeeding rates in Trinidad and Tobago to 50% by 2025. Currently, it's under 40%.
What?
Yes.
And I think that breastfeeding your newborn is like that opportunity for like that type of bonding.
That's one of the major benefits.
So it's alarming to hear that the breastfeeding rate is under 50%.
Yes,
I find it to be very strange, because that's one of the things that you look forward to, I think, generally as a new mom.
Right.
What about moms who are not producing, right? How do you, like in terms of counseling, how do you talk them through it? How do you help them through it? What kind of advice do you give them? Are there things that they can do to start producing the milk for the baby?
So one of the key areas is providing support and building a woman's confidence.
Right.
A lot of times they lack confidence because they don't get the support. So support is key with breastfeeding. Breastfeeding is not only just putting the baby to the breast, but the mother has to be comfortable and she has to be supported. So the nurse who might support her, the family, especially when she goes back into her home, she needs a supportive family. And then we have supportive groups, right, that will encourage the breastfeeding and boost her confidence so that she's willing to breastfeed. Yes, there are some mothers who would not produce milk, and various reasons, right? But we encourage her, and by the time we continue to do the supportive care and we educate her, we stimulate the breast, and we continue to do things to really stimulate the breast and get the milk, then it works. But there are some times that we will have to supplement.
Right.
But the aim is to get her to exclusive. Now, we spoke just now a little while ago that you notice that the rates go down, and we would like to have more babies exclusively breastfed, but it goes back to the workspace. So we have 3 months leave, maternity leave. 1 month is taken before she delivers, and then 2 months after she delivers. Now, we want exclusive breastfeeding up to 6 months, but she has to go back to work. And most of the time when she goes back to work is when you will have the not stopping the breastfeeding. And that's why we want to encourage this topic. Supporting the breastfeeding within the workspace. You provide the area, small area, don't have to be anything fancy, but must have a fridge, place to wash your hands, a little fridge where you can store your milk when you express, and that kind of thing, and then we will have the rates going up.
Yeah, because I know a lot of mothers have to end up weaning their babies off to get in preparation to get to work. Some people are lucky to have a little bit more time, but the 2 months that's a very short time. It's not, that's correct, it's not sufficient at all, and it really is a challenge. So I will support that. I am rallying for a space to be created for breastfeeding mothers so that they can express their milk and have it ready for their babies for breastfeeding. So is there anything you want to say in closing to our population? I'm talking about the breastfeeding week, anything in general as it relates to breastfeeding. Any closing remarks?
So for breastfeeding week, we want to encourage the employer to support the mothers. One of the things is that the workspace is 50% or more is female dominated. So in the childbearing age, so we want to really provide that space and create the support, provide a supportive environment where women would be able to breastfeed. Over the week, within the next couple of weeks, we will be going around to the different workspaces to sensitize employers and the employees so they know their rights.
Right.
Yes.
Well, I like the public education aspect of it because, of course, people need to be involved as well. Ladies and gentlemen, we've been speaking with our breastfeeding counselors, our healthcare practitioners, as they tell us a little bit more about the importance of breastfeeding and how to facilitate this in the workspace. Ladies, we thank you so much for joining us this morning, and we look forward to so much more on this topic. Guys, we're going to go to a break, but before we go to a break, of course, we're going to be coming back with our guests, Girls with Roots. But before we go, we are, of course, asking you to do what? Share the live, share the live, share the live.
Never ever worry, don't mind if life make you sad. I tell them never ever worry, if your house get flooded out real bad. I tell them never ever worry, what I'm saying is true. So just consider, Tatil will always be here for you.
Tatil, where people are people. You know what I mean.
Are you looking for a place for your loved ones? Heavenly Care welcomes you. Located at Northside Road opposite Massey Motors, we offer a variety of services. These include doctor visitations, social activities, geriatric care, and much more. Contact us at 277-9595 or visit us at Northside Road opposite Massey Motors. At Heavenly Care, compassion is at the heart of all care.
Summerama, real steam for the summer at Standard. Is a dream for the summer. Dreamy, steamy, Standard. What you have, what you have? All the best deals, no drama. Standard be beat like a hammer. Go tell your friend, tell your papa, tell your mama. We got more, we got more. Standards have what you're searching for. Quality brand, discounts galore. New things for the summer, online in store. Summertime is here, so make the most out of it at Standard. Never beaten on quality and price. It nice.
Right now, Tobagonians are just currying down to Bonaccord, right in Strawberry Local Road. You know why? To come down and shop at Authentic Builders General Hardware, the only hardware store in Tobago that is giving you guys Trinidad prices. So for instance, such as steel, 1/2 inch and 5/8, $7,895. 5/8 construction ply for $260. Every single thing that you will need to do your home renovation or start your new construction, we have it right here. And to get your quotation, it's very easy. Just WhatsApp us at 272-1990 and we will do your free WhatsApp quotation for you.
Are you flood ready? Review and update insurance coverage. Install floodgates and barriers. Create a family flood plan. An initiative to help people prevent, prepare, recover. TATIL, where people are people.
You can now get whatever you need whenever you need it anywhere in Tobago with Tobago. Your meals, medication, groceries, and shopping all delivered directly to you. No more hassle, no more stress. Get the Tobago app today on Google Play or Apple App Store.
That's TAPPOGO and let us deliver to you.
Check our website at www.tapogo.app or call the experts at 494-TOGO and 484-4746. Tobago. Relax. We will get it to you. Tobago's at your service.
This is how it's gonna go. They better look up below, 'cause this is your show, and everybody's gonna know. Say it to them once again. They better look up below. This is your show, and everybody's gonna know. That's how it's gonna go. They better look up below, 'cause this is your show.
Put a smile on your face when you're moving from place to place. Good morning. Good morning.
Welcome back to the morning show on Tobago Updates. Of course, I am your host, Adana Kombi, and I'm taking you through this next interview. But before we get into this interview, of course, we have to go to the live to see who's logged on. And guess who's there? Our very own Rhea Richardson George. Good morning, Rhea. We miss you, but we know you'll be back. We love you so much, my darling. We see Miss Loma. Stuart McDougall is also here. Selma Lashley is also here. Sweet Bandy is also here. Good morning, guys. Good morning, guys. Thank you so much for logging in and for staying with us throughout this morning's program. Right, we're getting into our second interview for this morning, and we're talking about Girls with Roots. Pretty powerful leadership program. And we have in studio with us Miss Charlie-Ann Sincere. She's the director of Girls with Roots. And Whitney Heidemann Cyrus. She's a program coordinator of Girls with Roots. Good morning, ladies, and welcome to the program. You guys look lovely. And I'm guessing that Girls with Roots, of course, is girls with natural hair or natural. Is that what we're talking about? No.
Unfortunately, no.
But look at this. Well, we want to know. So tell us a little bit about what Girls with Roots is all about, the idea behind the program, and what we can expect from it.
All right. So my name is Charlie-Ann, like you said, and Girls with Roots started just about 8 years ago. Mm-hmm. And the intent behind it was to provide a space or a community for girls where they can learn skills and resources that can help them become impactful in their communities and initially in their countries. So that means we provide them with resources and skills such as teaching them how to speak up and use their voice, teaching them how to present themselves in public, how to dress appropriately. And it just means that the girls are confident in who they are, they know their worth. And so that's really what the rooted means. They're confident in themselves and who they are.
Right,
exactly, right. So we're not talking about natural hair.
Cool. So clear, that's what people we're not talking about here today. There's a place for that as well. But we're talking about girls being rooted and grounded in who they are, knowing who they are, and their confidence.
Exactly.
I like this. I really like this.
All right. And so what we're doing next week is hosting what we've been hosting since the organization was started, and that's the Pretty Powerful Leadership Program. And essentially, we're again providing them with all the skills that they will need to become leaders one day. And I mean, every girl is a leader in her own right, whether or not that be leading out in her life, in her school, within her home, within her community, within church settings. Every girl is a leader, and we're providing them with the skills to bring out that leadership capability within themselves. And so I'll let Whitney talk about the program and what we're going to do over the next 2 weeks.
Okay, so the program begins on the 7th of August and it runs from Monday to Thursday, and for 2 weeks ends on the 17th. Now we will have competent facilitators coming in, people like Mrs. Eloise Hines, we have Miss Diana Kwashi, and they will be teaching girls how to be confident, learning how to build positive self-image. We want them to be able to speak up for themselves, as Charlie said. And the point is, we understand that leadership, everybody wants to be a leader, but there are skills involved. And this program is all about giving the girls the skills that they need to become leaders, right? It's not only about, the program says pretty powerful. And when we think about women, we think about, you know, being pretty and being beautiful. But there is something more within a girl that we need to teach girls, because there aren't any or many people out there who are showing girls how to lead, right? How to be positive. And the fact that we look at social media and we see women doing all sorts of negative things, we think that our organization is needed, this program is needed, because there is always a place where girls need to find who they are, right? Find their voices, and that's what we're here to do.
I really like this because I always say, well, not always, but I oftentimes say that an empowered woman, an empowered female is an empowered society.
Yes, it is.
Right? And we are actually natural leaders. You know, in as much as society might not accept it, it's who we are. And I really like the fact that you have seen a gap or a void, and that you have come forward with this program to fill that. And of course, your facilitators are quite capable, as you mentioned. And this is something I'd like to jump on it. So next year, you'll call me now. Right? Because this is something I really, really love doing. You see the confidence part? A lot of people in general, and especially our young women, they do battle with confidence. And once they see people like themselves, you know, fulfilling their purpose, walking in their confidence, then they too are encouraged to do the same. So, you know, we really want to, I personally really want to commend you guys for doing this. You know, is there a fee to participate in your program?
Yeah, so the fee to participate is just a small fee of $500. And basically what that does, it offsets some of the costs for the program, but the value that they're receiving is much more than the $500. So our organization subsidizes this program very heavily, and we just want to make it accessible to everyone. So that, hence the small fee that's involved. But we really think the value that they'll be receiving over the 2-week period is really great.
Right. And where is it going to be held? Where is it going to be held?
It will be at the University of the Southern Caribbean's campus.
Okay.
Yeah.
Rockville.
Okay, great. And what kind of time frame during the day? Because I know you said Monday to Friday from
Monday to Thursday, from 9 to 2:30.
Okay. And what can we expect in terms of the activities?
All right, so we have things like, we have Miss Kwashi, Diana Kwashi, I don't know if you know her, right? She's going to be coming to teach them how to dress well. We have Miss Bishop, she's going to be teaching them how to do dating etiquette. So she's going to set a table and teach them the fine skills that they need. We have things like building the vision boards. And we have a lot of fun activities planned for them. And we're really hoping that we get a good turnout. And we're asking corporate Tobago, you know, come on board, because there are a lot of girls who reached out, but they aren't able to finance the program.
Right.
So if you're out there, sponsor a girl. We're encouraging, because there are a lot of girls that you see and you say, like, okay, she needs some refinement.
Right.
She needs some help. So you come on, call us, let us know, hey, I have this girl. We want her to be a part of the program. I'm going to sponsor her because she needs this kind of skill. So we are asking you all to come on board. It's just a small fee, and we know that it will be totally worth it.
And I think it is an investment rather than a fee. It is an investment, because the returns, I would think, is long term. right? It's not just I attended this program and then it ends here when the program ends. It's something that you can take with you. So I see it as an investment. So yes, I support corporate coming on and sponsoring a girl. Two people could come together and sponsor a girl if you can't do the full sponsorship, you know. And I think I wish you guys the best of success. How can people register to participate in the program? Is there a registration process or how do you?
Well, there is. You can go onto our website. It's girlswithroots.org. So girlswithroots.org. But I know it's very late, so they can also call us directly. The number is 776-4475. So give us a call. Let us know if you're open to sponsoring a girl or if you're interested in registering your girl, and we'll walk you through the process from there.
Or even if you're interested in partnering with the program for future or whatever the case might be. You know, this is something I will always support programs like this. I will always support initiatives like this because, as I said, an empowered person is an empowered society, and this is exactly what we want to do. And this is also can be used to curb some of these social ills.
Yes.
You know, because a girl that doesn't have confidence, if somebody whispers something in her ears, that's what she's going with, right? Yeah, exactly. So it's best you guys whisper in her ears.
Yes.
It's best like a program like this, whisper in her ears and tell her, listen, you're beautiful, you're confident, you can do this, you are empowered, and now go forth into society and show them who you are. Ladies, we thank you so much for being here this morning and talking about this topic. We are inviting you to send your girls out. Send your girls out, sponsor someone between the ages of 13 to 18, if I got it correctly. Yeah. So they started next week, Monday, and they're running from Monday to Thursday from 9 a.m. to 2:30 p.m. So call them 776-4475 to register, to sponsor a girl, and let's get this going. Thank you so much, guys, for staying with us up until now. Of course, we're going to go to a break before we come back with our next guest. But of course, before we go, we're going to ask you to do what? Share the live, share the live, share the live.
Jade Monkey! We celebrate a living legend, Curtis Grant, the International General Grant. Guaranty. On the 6th of August, it's a celebration with the General Grant, and he's coming with his friends, Gardnerite, Ziggy Rankin, Ice Sasha, and Prophet Benjamin. Your DJs, Trendsetter Goofy, and Jason G Artistry, Dreads International. Admission only $100 at the door. You pay more. Get your tickets now at Jade Monkey Bar, Barcode, Happy Place Bar, and Pablo Supermarket. For more information, call 266-6626 or 366-0991. Follow us on Instagram at Jade Monkey Bar TBG. On Facebook at Jade Monkey Bar Tobago. It's a celebration with the General Grant on the 6th of August from 9 p.m. at the Jade Monkey. This event powered by Digicel, Carib, Cool Control Air Conditioning, and Blue Heron Establishment.
Inner Health, number 13B, Portmore, Scarborough, Tobago, with over 25 years experience offering services in and not limited to microscopic blood analysis, reflexology, and the sale of a wide range of organic herbal products used to supplement thyroid, lymphatic, heart, kidney, and brain health, and the male and female reproductive systems. Come and chat with us. Remember, your health is your wealth.
you flood ready? Recycle and properly dispose of large waste. Avoid sweeping yard clippings or trash into drains. Plant trees to avoid soil erosion. An initiative to help people prevent, prepare, recover. TATIL, where people are people.
MI4 Security Services Company is the most advanced security service in Tobago. Ask about our cash and transit service. It's safe, risk-free, reliable, and timely. We provide safe banking delivery for all business types and sizes with highly trained staff, 24/7 monitoring, coordinated emergency response, and a well-maintained fleet of armored vehicles. Contact us at 660-7723 or visit our website at www.mi4securitytt.com to sign up today.
October will never be better with Tobago Carnival fever. Book your passage and come on over.
Tapicom. Welcome to the future. The only card you will need in a new world. Digital business cards. Safe, hassle-free. The future is here. Tapicom. New generation digital transfer. Digital time clock cards, digital attendance cards, air tags, customized designs, digital clothing tags, digital pet tags. Tapicom. The future is here. Contact us today.
Tobago Glass Supplies has been a leading name for over 37 years in the glass and aluminum market in Tobago. We provide an extensive range of high-quality, innovative aluminum and glass products for commercial and residential use. Competitive prices with superior and professional services by committed employees who are guided by rigid quality standards. Tobago Glass Supplies specializes in the manufacture and installation of glass and aluminum products that are essential to today's homeowners and the business environment. We are engaged in marketing, sales, and installation of a variety of products. These ranges from windows and doors to necessities such as mirrors for homes and vehicles, designed and manufactured in-house or imported.
The best place to stay in Tobago is at Thorn's Place with rates starting as low as 200 TT. Call or WhatsApp 745-7306 or 682-8676. We are located uptown Scarborough, 5 minutes away from the port. Remember, at Thorn's Place, our aim is to make your stay safe and affordable. Full disclosure with the executive every Thursday at 8 p.m. only on Tobago Updates. Real questions and honest conversations with the sole aim of keeping you fully in the know. Full disclosure with the executive every Thursday at 8 p.m. only on Tobago Updates.
Put a smile on your face when you're moving from place to place. Good morning.
Yes, welcome back. And of course, thanks for staying with us here on Tobago Updates Television. And of course, don't forget you can view us also on 102, and that's on Amplia. And of course, we are now into the sporting segment. And don't forget to share the live, share the live. And this morning we have one guest on a set with us. In fact, not on set, but on the program this morning. We're going to be chatting with the Minister of Sport and Community Development, Honorable Shampuka Joe. I think she's with us online. Good morning to you, Minister.
Good morning, all of Tobago. Thank you for having me this morning.
Fantastic. Minister, it's the day. The day has finally arrived. It's the opening day of the Commonwealth Youth Games here in Trinidad and Tobago. The first time ever we are going to be hosting this aspect of Commonwealth in terms of the youngsters, the 7th edition, and it's going to be held here in Trinidad and Tobago. Are you ready? How are you feeling as Minister of Sport and Community Development?
I feel ready. I think that Trinidad and Tobago is ready. I'm really delighted to see this finally coming to life. It's what we have been talking about, what we have been planning for. Of course, you know, the games were supposed to be held in 2021, so we were bidding as early as 2018, and we won the bid by 1 vote. And we want to thank everyone who had the confidence in us to give us their vote to win the bid. And here we are, 5 years later, delivering. It's actually coming to life. And you have the different stakeholders in the different corners doing what's necessary to deliver safe and successful games. Of course, hiccups would happen, but we're all pulling our weight and doing our very best. So I'm just happy to see August 4th that we've been talking about the whole time here, and it's happening. Our guests are here. We have over 1,000 athletes already in, and officials already in. They're already out enjoying the sights and sounds of Trinidad and Tobago, training at our facilities. So it's an exciting time for all of us here in Trinidad and Tobago, not only for me, the Ministry of Sport or central government, also Tobago House of Assembly. We're seeing both islands come alive for the very first time, as we host for the very first time this multi-sport event on both islands. This is the first for Commonwealth Games Federation also, because it's the first time hosting on on 2 different islands. So the logistics that go into play, so many moving parts, so many people having to do what they need to do to make this thing work. It's a lot of work, but hopefully it will be worth the while in the end.
Yeah, fantastic. And of course, today being the opening ceremony, and as you mentioned, you know, it's going to be the game's going to be held both in Trinidad and in Tobago. Of course, the opening ceremony later on today. What can we expect? How can persons view the games if they can't attend physically? Just take us through that. And what can we expect from the opening ceremony?
Well, hopefully, we're hoping everybody can attend. We want to fill the Hasty Crawford Stadium. We want to fill a Shaw Park multi-purpose complex. Of course, this is the first time we have the ceremony taking place in both places. So at the end of the day, it's just about getting people out. The children, anybody 18 years and under, it's free. So it's a fun event for the family. It costs $50 to get into the opening event. Of course, you have Tribe or Ultimate events that will be putting on the show. We'll see a beautiful showcase of our culture, Moko Jumbies, Pan, Mass, you name it. You're going to have the parade of the different, we call it parade of the bands or parade of the different countries, as you usually see in games of this nature. So we look forward to an afternoon of excitement starting at 4 p.m. You can get tickets at www.tickets.com. That is TIKKETS.com. Or you can purchase your ticket at the different venues. But remember, for children 18 years and over, free of charge. And if you can't make it, you may be a senior or physically unfit, or you may be at work and still want to be a part of the action, you have a YouTube channel, Trinbago2023.com. You can find all the information and all the links and so on for these games.
Fantastic. I know, and I'm happy that you mentioned in terms of where tickets can be purchased, because I've been asked a lot if persons can buy tickets at the venues, because we saw advertised tickets.com. Some persons would have mentioned that, you know, they don't possess a credit card and they want to know if they can purchase at the venue. So I'm happy that that was cleared up. So yes, folks, you can get out there, check out the games, and you can purchase your tickets at the venues for the different disciplines. And Minister, in terms of the disciplines, right, and at the venues, you know, you can run us through that as well. I know that we have four events happening here in Tobago and 3 in Trinidad.
Okay, great. So in Trinidad, we have the aquatics or swimming taking place at the National Aquatic Center. We have cycling taking place, track cycling at the National Cycling Center, which is our only UCI accredited World Cycling Center in the Caribbean. And track and road cycling will be taking place at the Brian Lara Cricket Academy. As it relates to athletics, which I think is our most supported discipline, that would take place at the Hasty Crawford Stadium. And in Tobago, we have 4 sporting disciplines taking place in Tobago. You have rugby at the Shore Park Recreational Field, which is right up next to Scarborough Sec. You have netball taking place at the Shore Park Multi-Purpose Complex, what we knew to be Shore Park Cultural Complex, and you have the triathlon taking place in the community of Buku and ending at our world-class, very unique and special Buku Boat Racing facility. And finally, of course, you have beach volleyball taking place at the new beach volleyball or beach sporting facility that was built by the Tobago House of Assembly and I think opened yesterday in Black Rock. As far as I understand, all sites are ready at it, have already begun training, and we are fired up and ready to go.
Yeah, and Minister, as you touched on that Black Rock Beach sport facility, of course, it was handed over to the Tobago House of Assembly officially yesterday. And me being on social media, I saw you made several posts in terms of not being invited to the handing over ceremony, and there has been this tension or contention between the local organizing committee, which is the Tobago Task Force, and that of the organizing committee, the overarching organizing committee, with the delivery of this particular facility. And just for clarity, I'm not sure if you can go through the whole timeline of the coming to being of this particular facility, because I saw you mentioned as well, but initially the Pigeon Point Heritage Park was chosen for the beach volleyball, but we are now at a stage where we have this international facility at Black Rock, of course, which Tobagonians are very proud to have. Obviously, after the Commonwealth Games, is going to be in use for beach soccer and other sporting disciplines. So, can you just take us through the timeline in terms of the coming on stream of this particular facility?
Matters, I think it's just so unfortunate what this has been, what this has morphed into. At the end of the day, I have been in support, the government has been in support of the Tobago House of Assembly building the beach facility. From the get-go, the concern was always, can we do this thing in time and the way it was done? Let's talk about how this happened. You remember we bid for these games in 2018. At that time, there was a different administration, and politics should not really affect sports like this. And a part of bidding for the Commonwealth Youth Games is we had to keep the cost under $7 million US, because that was somewhere in the vicinity of what Bahamas would have done their games at. So they have a specific threshold and so on. At that point in time, we were also looking at showcasing not only our facilities but also sites. So we saw Pigeon Point. As a matter of fact, it was the Tobago House of Assembly of that day that chose Pigeon Point. It would have been cost effective to put in the bleachers and so on, as what's being done here now. And even at the triathlon, you're going to be using bleachers and so on. So when we made the bid, this is what we proposed to the Commonwealth Games Federation. The sites for Tobago were always selected by the Tobago House of Assembly, and the sites in Trinidad were selected by the Ministry of Sport and Community Development in collaboration with the Trinidad and Tobago Commonwealth Games Association and the International Federation and the heads of the national governing body. This is not a government decision. I'm always directed by the heads of the local organizing committee, the national governing body, and of course we have to get the approval of the Commonwealth Games Federation. So in 2018, that's what was one. In 2019, that was the situation. Of course, in 2020 and 2021, there was a lull, and we didn't know if the games were even going to happen due to COVID. It was in June 2022 that we received word from the Commonwealth Games Federation. We had a conference call meeting and a conference call on the phone and so on. And we decided that yes, it's going to happen. Immediately, I contacted WASPO Assistant Secretary Clark. He was on board. That was in June 2022. In July 2022, we made our way to Birmingham, and we were telling everybody about Pigeon Point and about all sites and locations. In August of 2022, Dame Louise and the team from the Commonwealth Games Federation came for the signing. I invited Assistant Secretary Clark to Trinidad, and from there on, I said, every time the Commonwealth Games Federation come to Trinidad and Tobago, we'll have you, Wayne Clark, take them around and show them the sites. And he was showing them Pigeon Point up to the visits down to the end of the year 2022, and in February 2022, he was showing them Pigeon Point. I did not learn of a decision or an intention to change the location from Pigeon Point to the facility in Blackrock until March 4th. On March 4th, we were entertaining the Commonwealth Games Federation officials in looking at the sites, and on our schedule, we were going to Shaw Park and to Buku and to Pigeon Point. It was while we were at Shaw Park looking at the rugby facility, and Mr. George Leacock, who was then appointed by the Tobago House of Assembly to be head of the Tobago Task Force, said he had a conversation with the Chief Secretary, and they have decided that they want to use Blackrock. So I said, okay, let's go over to Blackrock. When we went over to Blackrock, there were trees and everything still there. And I said, okay, when I saw what the site was, I said, guys, here we are, today is March 4th. 5 months, exactly 5 months before the games, and we have to hand over facilities by June 29th. As a matter of fact, you have to remember that the contract says that we were supposed to firm up facilities by the 20th of November 2022. So yes, even though Hazy Crawford was changed, the athletics location was changed from Dwight York to Hazy Crawford, that was changed in November before the deadline. So here we are, in March, the THA making these announcements that they have changed the venue. Remember, I am the signatory on this contract, and there is a process in the contract of which the THA has a copy of it because I provided the contract to them, where there's a process for changing location where you have to write to the Commonwealth Games Federation. There is a procedure for changing a location, especially after the November 20th deadline of 2022. So I couldn't join in with the assembly and said, hey world, the location has changed. I can't do that. I signed the contract and I know that there's a process for changing the location. So I said, if you guys want to use this location, we have to do the necessary. Have you got an environmental clearance? Do you have a plan? We need to show to the Commonwealth Games Federation the necessary documents and share with them the information in order to get their approval. So I couldn't join with you in making these announcements because I know fully well I'm the signatory. All the liability would be on the government of Trinidad and Tobago as the sole guarantor of the contract. And this is not a single-handed decision. I can't just wake up one morning and change a venue. We have to talk with the International Federation. We have to get the written approval of the Commonwealth Games Federation. So immediately I kept saying, hey, we can't do it like this, and kept asking the Tobago House of Assembly, please meet with me. You would see me in text messages and letters asking for a meeting. It got to a point where the Tobago House of Assembly would not speak with me. I'm reaching out to WASP or reaching out to the Chief Secretary, and nobody's willing to speak to me. It was George Leacock who came on the scene and was serving as a mediator. All through this process, the Tobago House of Assembly has not met with me or given me the necessary information to approve their location. So what we're talking about in March 4th, you know you wanted Blackrock. April passed, I'm trying to get a meeting with you. You would see the text messages because I've shared all my receipts. Because I knew I was dealing with a slippery bunch of people, I kept recording everything. Even when I went to cast, waiting on the meeting, waiting for them to come. Even when I walked past, I recorded it because I knew who I was dealing with. And I knew what was up their sleeve. You understand what I'm saying? So at the end of the day, here I was, reaching out, trying to get a meeting, reaching out to George Leacock to be a mediator. So here we had George Leacock telling me, well, Fally, say this off. And I said, no, it don't operate like that. I have to provide. Because the Commonwealth Games Federation don't want to hear Fally say. They want documents and commitments and so on. So I've exposed, I've circulated the letters, the WhatsApps and so on, and there are more where that came from. You understand what I'm saying? It's just really unfortunate that they would try to use this for political gimmickry. It was I who wrote to the Commonwealth on May 9th saying, I think Blackrock is a wonderful idea. And if there's a better time to show that environmental conservation and infrastructure for sport can work hand in hand, it is now, and Blackrock would be the place.
Yeah.
That letter is also on social media.
Yeah.
So at the end of the day, to try to act like the government was fighting you, that's wrong. Even when you lied to the public, telling them that the sand was on the seas and the sand wasn't on the seas, and lied to the Commonwealth Games Federation, telling them that the sand was on its way, knowing fully well that it hadn't been loaded on the boat yet. It was Douglas Camacho of the local organizing committee reaching out to different agencies in Trinidad that could provide sand, because we didn't think the sand would get there on time. It was Sham for Kojo talking to Paula Gopi-Schoon and people from ETEC trying to get sand from Magdalena that was brought in for the golf tournament to see if we can build one court. And Mr. Fali Augustine, Chief Secretary, would remember the only time I got the opportunity to really talk to him was last week at the golf tournament function in Magdalena. And I said, hey, we need to huddle, because by that time I had already received a July 24th letter from the Commonwealth Games Federation saying, hey, I am concerned and disappointed and asking me to find an alternative location for beach volleyball. So I said, hey, Chief Secretary, we need to huddle. I need to say something to the Commonwealth Games Federation. You would see I delayed my response to them by 6 days. I waited until the morning that the sun got there to tell them, hey, the sun is here, because I didn't want to respond giving them another lie or telling them like tomorrow. They had lost confidence in us. So whilst the Tobago House of Assembly gets to play politics and so on, I have to mind the matters of state. And I even have the WhatsApp conversation and so on between myself and George Leacock, where we're seeking the intervention of Rohan Sinanan as Minister of Works and the Port Authority Chairman, Mr. Alexander, in order to assist in getting the sand from the port to the location and making sure the clearing and so on was done. So to act now like somebody was fighting you and so on, that is so wrong, and it is so much lies. And at the end of the day, in order for you to shine, you don't have to drag somebody else. The world is watching. And it's really unfortunate that the Tobago House of Assembly would take it in that direction. As to who takes the glory for this facility, that's not my job. That's not my responsibility. This was the Tobago House of Assembly's idea. And you don't need a Commonwealth Games Federation or Commonwealth Youth Games to build a beach facility. If you're building a beach facility for Tobago, then go ahead and do so. We need it. With or without the Commonwealth Youth Games. And as said to Fali last week, the Chief Secretary last week, don't mind the teething issues. This is going to redound to the benefit of Trinidad and Tobago and the rest of the Caribbean. So don't mind what people are saying now. You just push on with your project, and then in the end, all of it will come together. Who was supportive? Me. You understand? So I don't take responsibility for that facility. That facility is the idea and was delivered by the Tobago House of Assembly. All kudos go to them. But my business is to deliver to the Commonwealth Games Federation facilities on time for the youngsters to train. And I missed all deadlines as it relates to that. And the Assembly doesn't care about that. But here we are. We are at this point. It took us a long time to get here, and we are here. And these youngsters, I hope, are going to have a good time as we work together to deliver safe and successful games.
And of course, as you mentioned there, I mean, we really want to deliver successful games here. We are known as a country that delivers in terms of hosting these events. Minister, I want to thank you so much for being with us here this morning, and I want to encourage Trinidad and Tobago go out there and support all the games, both in Trinidad and Tobago. I trust you. I trust that, of course, the fans are going to be, they're going to be impacted by whatever the organizing committee has to offer when they get to the different venues. Minister, thank you so much. I'm looking forward to a successful game.
One more word, please. I want to encourage volunteers to come out. We are still short on volunteers in Tobago and in Trinidad. All you folks tapping on social media and doing all that politicking and narrative shaping, go out there, volunteer. The Tobago side of things need volunteers. In Tobago, we need more volunteers. Also, this is our first time, and of course, things would happen. The more hands on board, the merrier, to show our guests a wonderful time. So thank you. Come on out and enjoy the game.
Just before you go, Minister, I'm told that we still have about 5 more minutes to talk about the sports camp that are going to be happening here in Tobago. Yes, I missed that. And of course, the producers allowed the additional time for us to talk about Tobago Sports Camp. And I'm told it's going to happen just after the Commonwealth Games. And I mean, you can touch on that for us.
Lovely. As much as they say we don't support or we don't collaborate, here is the Ministry of Sport and Community Development once again hosting sports camps in Tobago in collaboration with who? The Tobago House of Assembly. The Division of Youth and Community Development and Sport is the Ministry of Sport and Community Development and Sport TT, partnering, funding fully these sport camps in Tobago and in Trinidad, and we're partnering with Tobago House of Assembly. Of course, registration is open right now as we speak. The flyers are out, and we are having registration taking place right now. These camps are going to take place between August 15 and 30, so register your child. Lunches and refreshments and so on, free. So last year we catered to over 500 children throughout Trinidad and Tobago in these camps, and we're expecting a bumper season, if I dare say so, once again for these camps. In Tobago, we are going to be having a Bonaccord basketball, netball, football at Dwight York Stadium, archery and track and field, at Heritage Park, beach football, at Louisdor, football and netball, at Montgomery Bethel, where I'm from, basketball, football, at Mount St. George, football and jump rope, at Mariah, cricket and golf, at Pigeon Point, dragon boat, at Plymouth, football, hockey and netball, at Shaw Park, chess, tennis, volleyball, at Shaw Park again, football and cricket, at Signal Hill, futsal and golf, at Speyside, football and netball, at YMCA swimming for ages 14 to 18, and we have a host of different disciplines in Trinidad. So come out, support the Ministry of Sport and Community Development, bringing to you once again these sport camps in Tobago, providing activities for the youngsters to engage in and to introduce them to all different sporting disciplines, so that they can improve their development at school, at play, in life. And that is what sport is about. Not only about medals, but developing communities and people and building partnerships. Because here we are once again, the Ministry of Sport and Community Development gets to work hand in hand with the Tobago House of Assembly Division of Sport and Youth in delivering these outstanding sporting camps.
And just share with the public how can persons register. And of course, the camp is free. Is it that they go to the Division of Community Development, Youth Development and Sport? Is it online?
Okay, so
how can persons register?
Registration forms are available online at www.sporttt-tt.com. And for more information, you could call 639-4818 extension 2014 or extension 2025. Hop on board the internet right now and fill out your applications at sporttt-tt.com, please.
And all free of charge. All free of charge.
We have charged free lunches too.
Minister, we're going to leave it there today. I want to thank you so much for taking time off from your busy schedule to be with us here today. Of course, it's a historic moment in Trinidad and Tobago. In fact, the Caribbean, because I'm told that this is the very first time we're going to have the Caribbean Youth Commonwealth Games here in Tobago.
Yes.
And this is the platform for us to host the real thing, the Commonwealth Games in Trinidad and Tobago. Thank you so much, Minister, and of course, congratulations once again.
Thank you, Marcus. Thank you, Tobago. Come on out and have a wonderful time. Take care.
Fantastic. Of course, there we have it, talking with the Honourable Minister of Sports and Community Development, Shamfa Kojo, talking Commonwealth Games, Commonwealth Youth Games and Sports Camp right here in Tobago. There's going to be a bumper weekend in Trinidad and Tobago. We're going to have 4 disciplines happening right here in Tobago. Once again, Fast 5 netball at the Shaw Park Cultural Complex. We have rugby 7s at the Shaw Park Recreational Ground. We go down to the beautiful Blackrock Beach facility. We're going to have beach volleyball. And of course, at Buko, we're going to have triathlon. In Trinidad, swimming, cycling, and also the athletics and para-athletics as well. Thank you so much for joining us on this morning's sporting segment. I'm going to hand over to the capable hands of Candice Jackson for Tobago Notes.
checking for me.
That is how life in Tobago used to be.
Everybody's checking for everybody.
That is how life in Tobago used to be.
Tobago updates. Good morning, Tobago. Wake up with Candace and Denasia.
Let's go. It's a brand new morning. Rise up to a brand new dawning. As the passion start to rise, the energy fill the skies. I say thanks for favor.
Welcome to Good Morning Tobago on Tobago Updates, your source for current affairs in Tobago, Trinidad, and the region. With the perfect conversations to complement your morning routine, I am Candace Jackson, and let's get started with the news in 90 seconds.
The news in 90 seconds is brought to you by Flow, working for you on Tobago's newest fiber network.
Despite a direct order from the Chief Secretary, the Licensing Division successfully hosted its town hall meeting with the public at the Scarborough Library. Yesterday evening, a memo was issued from the Chief Secretary to the Chief Administrator banning the use of any THA-owned or rented property by the Licensing Division. According to the release, the Chief Secretary had no objections to the Licensing Department carrying out lawful functions on the island, but stated the processes used to carry out those functions cannot be unlawful. The meeting, however, was not disrupted and came to a natural conclusion. Meanwhile, after ACP Carlos Hazel said that the police do not require permission to conduct operations in Tobago, Chief Secretary Fali Augustine stated that it is not a matter of permission, but one of courtesy. Speaking on last night's full disclosure, Augustine criticized the ongoing licensing exercise in Tobago. The police are supposed to collaborate with the THA, not just pay lip service, according to the Chief Secretary. He said the timing was bad and accused the Licensing Division of acting inconsistently. Augustine also questioned the Licensing Division's integrity, claiming that despite being managed by the THA, they appear to be taking orders from elsewhere. And finally, the Courland Beach volleyball facility is complete. It was officially handed over to the THA yesterday evening, one day ahead of the Commonwealth Games. The remarkable feat of constructing this facility was accomplished in just 40 days. George Leacock, chairman of the THA Task Force for Trinbago 2023, commended the entire team for their outstanding efforts in turning this project into a reality. Chief Secretary Fali Augustine expressed his excitement as he unveiled the facility, eagerly anticipating its positive impact on the island's sports tourism product in years to come. And that concludes your news in 90 seconds.
The news in 90 seconds is brought to you by Flow, working for you on Tobago's newest fiber network.
Tobago, after freeness is more speed and better TV. Get a free Samsung smartphone and free installation, plus 200 megabits per second, Paramount Plus, and more for only $299 with a select 200 plan from Flow. Visit online at discoverflow.co today.
Welcome back to Good Morning Tobago, viewers. Got a whole lot happening here in Tobago. It's Commonwealth Games getting ready to start off today, so it's certainly very exciting, and we're looking forward to that. But now we're switching our conversations to the political leader of the National Transformation Alliance, Mr. Gary Griffith, who was on with us to give us an update on what's been going on with the local government election. Things are certainly heating up down there. So good morning and welcome to you, sir. How are you doing?
Thanks. Good morning. Well, as you see, I'm getting a tan, I've lost weight, and I'm just walking with my candidates.
Certainly. Now, Mr. Griffith, we saw quite a bit of activity recently. First of all, there was a comment made by the political leader of the UNC, of course, the party you guys are collaborating with, partnering with for this local government elections, and especially talking about that quote, that light them up quote, that has attracted quite a lot of negative criticism in the space. So I would just like to get your opinions on that.
Well, I will give my opinion, not as a politician, but more importantly, as someone who is trained in law enforcement and the use of force policy. Because what is unfortunate, we have media houses actually using criminologists and persons with absolutely no knowledge, education, experience, qualification in that type of system. So as it pertains to what Kamala Prasad-Bissessar said, everyone could take sentences from persons and turn it to one extreme or the other if it benefits them or affects them. And in this case, that is what has happened. Her statement, what people try to turn it into believing that it means that she wants to use excessive force, that if somebody is shot, you're going to go for them and just finish your clip on them. That is not what she said. People interpret that. It reminds me so much of when I said, if somebody is a murderer, if somebody kills your family, if somebody rapes your loved one, I see them as a cockroach. And then liars will turn that and say, Gary Griffith said black people are cockroaches. But they wouldn't say that Keith Rowley said that they are pests, that certain people are pests and hyenas. So it shows people will take a sentence and deliberately lie and keep saying the same thing. So the perception now is that Kamala is trying to say that if somebody is shot, your job is to go and finish the clip on them. She never said that. When she spoke about emptying the clip, it can very well be along the line that what we are seeing now in this country, in home invasions, several people breaking into your home, and they have assault weapons, illegal weapons, automatic weapons that can fire 5.56 rounds, 35 of these rounds in 3 seconds. You cannot fire one isolated shot at a time to suppress them. You have to use as many rounds as possible because you have a small arm that was issued to you by me on most occasions. And with that, it makes it difficult, if not impossible, for you to suppress individuals coming up to your home, coming into your bedroom, and you're in a firefight and you're firing one round. The reason I could say that is as a commissioner of police, as a trained law enforcement expert, that is the reason why I increased the ammunition from 25 rounds to 50 rounds. That is why persons are getting 3 magazines instead of 2. Because if you're involved in hostile conflict and armed conflict, in a situation with persons with assault rifles that are firing automatic rounds, you have to fire as many rounds as possible. What you see in the movies, it is not makeup. A lot of these shows, these television shows and movies, it's based on law enforcement experts explaining to them how it should be done, whether it is Chicago PD, Blue Bloods, or whatever you watch. And then you will notice if it is that there's heavy fire, you will notice why they keep firing so many rounds. Because if you don't and you just fire one round at a time, they're going to keep getting closer to you, and with that type of hostile fire, you're going to go down. So the empty clip is something that is mandatory based on the situation. It is not based on every single case. If you fire one round and the person is neutralized, you should not continue firing, because that is now manslaughter. So there's a case by case scenario. People have deliberately turned it into one specific perception and then label her as being erratic and trying to state that people should abuse their authority and break the law.
Why do you think that there's such a reluctance from our government, from the PNM, I should say, as to allow people to have guns for their own protection, especially in a state of crime that we are facing right now?
I am starting to believe that criminal underworld has some type of link, and this is not any person I'm calling in the government, but it seems that there's some link that the criminal underworld will have with persons in authority who can make decisions. And I'll tell you why. It's not just firearms. My wife, Nicole, diagnosed for 8 years. Something as simple as pepper spray to give women a fighting chance. They have refused to do so. So it's starting to give the impression this can't be incompetence. This can't be ignorance. This has to be some deliberate agenda that you want to protect criminals. Because why would you not want to give a law-abiding citizen the right to have a firearm to protect themselves from being killed? What is wrong with it? And the reason I could say that is that Keith Rowley and Fitzgerald Hines and company, they do not have a problem with firearms, because between the two of them and the previous commissioner of police, between the three of them, they made over 70 requests for firearms for their rich and famous friends. So why is it that it's okay for rich and famous friends closely associated with people in high places to get a firearm? But if I was issuing firearms to the simple police officer, past or present, soldier, sailor, prison officer whose life is at risk, the small farmer, the small businessman, why is it that they should not get one? And the fact is, by them lying to say that we were issuing firearms willy-nilly, I issued 2,000 firearms to civilians out of 1.4 million. That's something like about 0.15% of the population. And then they lied to say, well, no, he was just giving away firearms. The government lied. Keith Rowley lied to the country. And this is Gary Griffith being quoted so that you wouldn't have any concern about it. Because he kept saying that we were giving out firearms to everyone. 2,000 out of 1.4 million. There were over 50,000 applicants for 10 years that the previous commissioners didn't have the basic courtesy to even acknowledge their correspondence. Because these commissioners are old school. Their job is to walk with a cane and wear garbage and sit down behind a desk. The commissioners after me had the same perception. And that is what Kamala Prasad-Bissessy is stating. We have to amend it, because if you have an old-time dinosaur commissioner who feels, well, civilians shouldn't get firearms, that is not your business. That is not your right. So when Keith Rowley said that, and Hines have been saying that my style was different, it's because I did my job. Because I am being punished because of me doing the right thing. Because there's not a list to say that you must give out 50 firearms a year to persons. There's nothing saying you could give out 50,000. The point is that if there's a law, and the law presently states that if you have strong body and mind, you do the background check, and you're eligible to get one, then you do it. So why is it that it shouldn't be done? So I think the government is based on incompetence, ignorance, or that is based on some deliberate agenda by certain persons in high places who seem to have some degree of sympathy for criminal elements. Because it goes back to even when Kamala continues to speak about giving people a fighting chance. You hear Keith Rowley speaking about what they're trying to do is if a child goes and a ball goes in their yard, you could shoot the child. Or if somebody looks to steal a mango, you could shoot the person. That is a lie. That is not stand your ground. That is not what she's speaking about. She's speaking about the problems we have now, where a mother could have a home invasion. The husband is not there. He has a firearm. She grabs the firearm, shoots at the criminal in her home. I know she could very well be charged for manslaughter because the firearm did not belong to her. And then the firearm will now be seized by the police, and several years they will now be without a firearm, no fault of their own, but because they did their job, and now there could be reprisal. All of these things must change, and that is the focus.
And, we see that there's been quite a lot of focus from your platform as well as the UNC in terms of being able to deal with this crime situation. And would you say that this is the biggest issue right now in Trinidad as you guys are campaigning for the local government elections?
Yeah, Keith Rowley and the PNM have tried their best to divert and say, well, the local government election is not about national security or crime. It's about box drains and potholes and drains. I have walked the length and breadth of the East-West corridor. I've walked in the hills in Paramin, up in Scorpion, in Caranage, in Simeon Road in Pity Valley, into Bagatelle, Beetham, Sealots, Duncan Street, Nelson Street, going into Lavantil Road, Aruka, Trincity, Arima, and every single place that I have gone, that the main thing that they've heard is two things. Well, first they said they've never seen the political leader of the PNM in any of these places in their lives, and people have been there for decades. One. Two, they've never seen the councillor in that area, the PNM councillor, since 2019 when they turned up begging them to vote for them. And the third, their biggest concern is crime. So as much as the PNM will want to divert and say, well, crime is not an issue, it is an issue. And what we have been saying is that if we have access to control the cooperation, it will give me the opportunity to utilize the same tools, policies, programs that I utilize as Commissioner of Police and Minister of National Security, that the country would have seen the highest reduction in serious crime when I was Minister of National Security, the highest reduction in violent crime when I was Commissioner of Police. And I'll be able to utilize some of these policies to be able to put some degree of control and stability in those corporations to reduce crime and to make those citizens safer.
And what are some of those measures? I mean, I know that, for instance, in the municipal corporations, I mean, you have the police, your own police force in the cities and so on. Is that part of the plan that you are putting forward for bringing some relief to the crime situation faced by many in communities throughout Trinidad?
Yeah, good question. And a simple example to show that municipal police can work and can be effective with an immediate response. The NTA decided to have a walkabout at Sanwa Kwesi about 2 days ago. And we wrote to the Mova police station, we wrote to those in Barataria. The police came out in numbers to make sure that everything was okay. And the chairman of the Sanwa Lavantil Regional Corporation, Anthony Roberts, in a very arrogant manner, contacts the municipal police and sends them down to Sanwa Kwesi to give an order to us that we should remove ourselves immediately. Now, apart from the fact of him being totally ignorant to understand you're not supposed to give instructions to police as a politician. Two, there was no law being broken, because when the municipal police came, I said, please say what is the law? And they went, well, And this time, the TTPS officers are there being disrespected because this is what we are right here. We are watching you and you're not even taking us on. This has been done with letters have been written. It has been approved and we are here on the compound. But the point being is that it shows how effective municipal police can be. It's just that the politicians try to use it in the wrong way, in the same way that this PNM government have been trying to use police officers to investigate and go on witch hunting expeditions and fishing expeditions in the hope that they could find something about legal firearms. And after 2 years, after all the lies about a well-oiled criminal industry, not one person has even been questioned as it pertains to white-collar crime, bribery, or blackmail as it pertains to firearms. So they lied and they misused police resources. So, but going back to the municipal police, it shows how effective they can be if they're utilized in the right manner. And that is what we intend to do. We intend to utilize the municipal police similar to what I did when I was Commissioner of Police, putting a lockdown, a gridlock, GPS tracking on vehicles, monitoring where they are, making sure that they have body cameras, pepper spray, having a high visibility, working with the other business arms, utilizing their cameras to have an operational command center, getting public trust and confidence, getting information fed to me, first have what is known as predictive policing. So there's a lot that could be done, and that is what caused in my last year, it was 342 murders for the year. It was the lowest number of murders in about 17 years. After I left, just a few months later, it moved from 342 murders in my last year to over 600. So it shows that what was there it was working. What happened in the PNM, because of pettiness and vindictiveness, they shut down, dismantled, and removed every single thing, whether it were units, individuals, technology, equipment, policies, and that is what has caused the problem. So what we are saying is that you're controlling cooperation. You have access to the resources, the tools, the equipment, some of the personnel to be able to make that cooperation safer.
Mm-hmm. Now, we also seen coming out in the news yesterday, your wife, Ms. Nicole Dyer Griffith, speaking about allegations that her phone was tapped, and it seems as though some of the government apparatus has been used to spy on citizens. What light can you share on that?
Yeah, sure. This is not the first, and it won't be the last until we deal with it in a proper manner. In 2009, this is what the PNM government they were doing. I got the sheet and I have the list of the persons whose phones were being intercepted based on instructions by the PNM to the person who was in charge of the intelligence unit at the time. They were tapping the phones of Keith Rowley himself because he was an enemy of the PNM, even though he was in the PNM. Gary Griffith, Kamala Prasad Bissessa, Winston Dukaran, Arnold Roberts, 53 persons' phones were being tapped. When we got into government, we did the Interception of Communication Act. And with that act, it ensured that the only persons who can intercept would be the Commissioner of Police, the Director of the SSA, or the Chief of Defense Staff. Unfortunately, guess who appoints all three? The politicians again. So how it was drafted, we made a flow. So even if a politician handpicks somebody as Commissioner of Police, which is what this government has done now virtually, and then or the Chief of Defense Staff, they can easily now send a letter to the SSA, state that this person under intelligence reveals that this person is a possible terrorist. We need to have their phone tapped. And that is abuse of authority. That is abuse and it affects the constitutional rights of citizens. It affects their rights to privacy. You cannot use technology to interfere and to intercept and to invade the privacy of citizens because they may not be politically affiliated to you. That is abuse of the technology and the equipment that we have. This equipment and technology is there for criminal elements. So you can't just use the word intelligence and use that as an excuse to justify breaching and affecting the privacy of citizens. So my wife's phone being intercepted is because I actually saw the document. The document was there. I saw who signed it. I saw it was addressed to. I saw the date. It was all submitted to the court. And the court still said, well, we're still dismissing it. And I mean, basically, this has a big factor as it pertains to whistleblowers. Because if it is that the court is saying that we need hard evidence before we go forward to take action on the state based on abuse of technology, and now you're asking for full evidence, you are now going to virtually affect the whistleblower, because the more evidence you give, the greater possibility it is that the whistleblower can now be targeted as being the person who leaked the information, and they did this based on the fact that they understood that there was abuse of resources and technology by the state to target political opponents, which is not what it is used for. It should be used for.
Mm. And then turning back our attention back to the local government election, and I know that there's been quite a lot of seats that were marginal in the last elections that were held. Are you getting more positive feedback in those marginal seats at this point in time as you're going through on the ground campaigning?
Yeah. Well, interesting. And there was no margin. What we are going in from Diego Martin, Port of Spain, Samuel Laventil, Piaku, Tunapuna, Arima, Point Fortin, there was no marginal. All of those seats in the 31 that we have been going for, the PNM won 2-1. So the perception that this is home and dry for the NTA is not. 2-1. We're talking about 1,400 to 300, 800 to 300. The PNM won comprehensively. They won all 10 in Diego Martin. They won all in Port of Spain. All the 4 seats we are going for, the PNM won easily. The 2 in Arima, the PNM won. The 5 in Point Fortin. So they were all won easily by the PNM. However, that was in a 2-horse race with the PNM and the UNC. In 2010, when you had the COP impact of that 3rd constituency joining forces and voting alongside with their UNC brothers, half of those seats would have been won by the COP. Diego Martin, for example, 7 of the 10 would have been won for the COP and the UNC combined. 3 or 4 extra seats in Port of Spain. Arima went over to the People's Partnership. Same thing with Tunapuna and Piaco. And same thing with San Fernando. So at this time, what we are seeing is that degree of flip over. It's going to be a lot of votes for us to turn back, because you went in 1,400 to 400 in a local government election, 1,000 votes difference, 800 votes difference. It's a lot, because the numbers are pretty small. It's not like general election where it is like 8,000 votes to 7,000. So because of that, it's a lot of flip over, but a lot of that has to do with the 3rd constituency of persons who may previously vote for the PNM because they did not want to vote for the UNC. But now that they have a third choice, a third party that they have decided to vote and join. So if we have the same flip over of 2010, we may very well win several seats, if not corporations. San Fernando is another that I'm actually working with the UNC candidate, because that is only by UNC. but I'm working with the UNC candidate. I actually spoke in the UNC meeting in San Fernando last night, asking all of those third-party voters, whether you ONR, NAR, COP, NTA, to vote for the UNC candidate in San Fernando. And if that happens, then worst-case scenario could be 8-6. Best-case scenario, if it is we get a repeat of 2010, it can very well be 12-2.
And then just looking at the broader picture of things, how do you think this local government elections would affect the overall political atmosphere in Trinidad and Tobago?
Well, excellent question. This is the mother of all local government elections. And the reason I said that is, firstly, it is the first time in our history that a government refused to call an election, did not want to call an election, and have been forced to do so against their will. That is why it was so significant for them to bring in international observers, because we expect that if you didn't want something to happen, you may very well cheat to have the result in your favor because you weren't prepared and you didn't want it to happen. That is why it was so important. By the government being reluctant to bring international observers, it has triggered a concern even greater, and rightly so. And if and when the PNM is defeated, this is going to be the beginning and the end for Keith Rowley, because after the annihilation he got in Tobago and then to be defeated in the local government election, there's no coming back from there, because it means that if we are successful in local government, it means that the coalition, the accommodation, the alliance, whatever you want to call it, would have worked. It will bring the parties closer together. It will unite the parties even more. There's going to be greater mutual respect, cooperation, communication, better understanding. And that synergy is going to blossom into possibly what we saw, not in 2010, but more so I will say 1986 with the NAR. And that is what happened in the local government election in 1983. When the ONR went for certain areas, the ULF went for certain areas, it worked. And that built the platform and the bridge towards the general election. So that is how important this local government election is. And that's why we expect and hope that the voter turnout will not be the usual 35%, but I think it will be more into 40 to the 45s.
Well, we're certainly looking forward to seeing if we will get a bigger voter turnout, because we know the local government, like you said, it traditionally has such a low turnout. And then, are you getting the feeling that more people are interested in the politics? Because I know that for some people, they are saying that, you know what, they really are tired of all the drama, and they're just not paying attention to it. They're ignoring it. But what are the reactions that you are getting?
Well, just by the political meetings that you're seeing with the PNM, the UNC, the NTA, the headlines and so forth, you've never seen this before in a local government election. Local government election is usually mean, let's just get it over and done with. That is not what you're picking up here. You're seeing a lot of emotion, a lot of passion, a lot of bitterness, a lot of humor. And I think the country is hyped up for this election, and especially with younger persons. I mean, as I said, the places that I have gone that no political leader has ever gone, when it is that I've gone there, you're actually hearing persons very, very emotional and excited to want to go out there to send a loud and clear message to certain persons on August the 14th. So I think this is going to be a local government election with a difference.
And then what is the future looking like for the NTA with the UNC? Are you guys looking to continue? And as well, how is Mr. Jack Warner working along with you guys?
Well, again, as I said, I am very strategic in what I do. Some people were concerned by us working with the UNC, but I explained, I said, listen, I'm very strategic. It is not coincidental that 31 of 45 US presidents had military service. Even where I trained in the military in the United Kingdom, it is the same academy that Queen Elizabeth's sons and others would have gone to. They prepare you for leadership. They prepare you to understand strategy, tactics, because politics, by and large, is an art of war without firing a weapon, well, hopefully. And by doing it that way, I looked at the maths, I looked at the data, and when you're in politics, you're in politics to win. You don't get in politics to be an activist. You're in politics to try to get in government to serve people. The only way I can get to serve people, 89% of the country want me to remain in a position of authority to serve them with their most fundamental right, which was that of safety and security. The only way I can get back in there to do that for you is to be in government. The only way that any third party can get in government is to work with another party to be in government. Every single time that happens, the PNM is defeated. 1986, 1995, 2010 general election, and 2010 local government. Every single time a third party works on its own, They get lots of votes and no seats. 1981 with the ONR with 91,000 votes. 1991 with the NAR with 127,000 votes. 2007 with the COP with 147,000 votes. I have no intention to have our 150,000 third-party supporters go down the road like that, where we say, oh yes, we're going alone and we're fighting alone and we win alone and we lose alone, and then you have nothing. No. If I understand the importance and the value of us trying to get in a position to serve the country, we have formed that strategic alliance, and coalitions have worked around the world. There have been over 80 countries that had coalition governments, which is almost half of the countries in the world. Many still have. Over 13 united in Europe, over a dozen in Asia, Africa, and the Americas. Then you have regular governments that have worked and have not worked. This is a government that stands on its own, and it is the worst government ever. So we are seeing the importance of the coalition. We expect it to work as it has all the time in Trinidad and Tobago's history. As it pertains to Jack Warner, the concerns that people have, they will have their reasons for that concern. I'm not here to debate about it. What I can state is that Jack Warner holds no position of authority in any executive or any position in the UNTA or the UNC. So what is the concern that I should have at this time? Because he holds no position. If the UNC has 250,000 supporters and we have, say, 150,000, out of 400,000, we're supposed to be doing background checks and certificates of character for each person who supports us. Jack Warner is simply somebody who supports the NT and the UNC alliance. If it is he has the charisma that is going to attract many grassroots voters to vote for us, well, then that's the PNM's problem to be concerned, not mine, because Jack Warner does not have any position of authority in any executive, constituency, parliament, or representation in either the NT or the UNC. And what I can state is I have worked with him in Lupino, in Bonaire, in San Fernando, and all that I am getting is almost 100% of the persons who met him. They were all that you were hearing was singing praises for his performance, his work, his diligence, how he was able to serve them, be accessible, assist them, listen to them. And I think instead of persons remembering Jack Warner for what it is that he is dealing with internationally, the politicians should understand what a politician should be doing, and that is what Jack Warner has done when he was a politician. And I have learned from that, which is why you will see me doing what the political leader of the PNM could never do. Walk the ground, get on the ground, work with your candidates, and hear the needs and concerns of those persons on the ground that you want to vote for, that you want them to vote for you.
And then finally, as we have just one more week left, just about one more week left of campaigning before the local government elections, what can we expect from your campaign?
Actually, 9 days, 8 hours and 23 seconds, but who's counting? God, I can't wait for it to finish. But it has been a long haul. This has been the longest campaign ever, because usually the election bell will ring when it comes out of the Prime Minister's back pocket, and that will usually be 5 weeks or so. But this has gone on for over 2 months, so it has taken a toll on many people. But again, you've seen the excitement, the energy. Persons want to be part of this, and this is not just about trying to vote out the PNM. Even the PNM, there's been a deafening silence. I don't know whether they have decided to concede. When you hear a Prime Minister stating that the results don't matter, that is a sign of you have already given up. It has been a long one, but what has been valued to me is actually being on the ground and going to places where no political leader has ever gone, and actually seeing the poverty, the needs, the concern, the disregard, the disrespect that so many citizens in Trinidad have endured by voting for a political party blindly, and just because you say, well, PNM till I die. Being like that does not help you in your way. If it is you're a sporting fanatic like myself, I'm Manchester United till I die, and for the last 10 years I have suffered. But that is different. Supporting a football team is different. There's no need to support a political party blindly. If it is that they are incompetent, if they're not serving you, then you need to send that loud and clear message. And I expect come August the 14th, that would be sent.
All right, we're definitely looking forward for it. Thank you so much for Mr. Griffith for joining us and for giving us some perspectives on what's been going on within the political space in Trinidad, as well as Trinidad and Tobago as a whole. So thank you so much.
Okay.
All right, viewers, so we're going to take a quick break, and we'll be right back with more on GMT, so don't go anywhere.
Start to rise, the energy fill the skies. I say thanks for favor, to wake up and hear me neighbor.
the Zinger Sandwich, comes the KFC Crispy Barbecue Zinger.
The only one I see is you.
Cheddar cheese, crispy onions, the most delicious Kentucky Fried Chicken, and barbecue sauce. Get ready for a whole new level of flavor.
Never ever worry, don't mind if life make you sad. I tell them never ever worry, if your house get flooded out real bad. I tell them never ever worry, what I'm saying is true. So just consider, Tatil will always be here for you.
Tatil, where people are people. You know what I mean.
Are you looking for a place for your loved ones? Heavenly Care welcomes you. Located at Northside Road opposite Massey Motors, we offer a variety of services. These include doctor visitations, social activities, geriatric care, and much more. Contact us at 277-9595 or visit us at Northside Road opposite Massey Motors. At Heavenly Care, compassion is at the heart of all care.
Summerama, real steam for the summer at standard. Is a dream for the summer. Dreamy, steamy, standard. What you have, what you have? All the best deals, no drama. Standard be beat like a hammer. Go tell your friend, tell your papa, tell your mama. We got more, we got more. Standards have what is searching for. Quality brand, discounts galore. New things for the summer, online in store. Summertime is here, so make the most out of it at Standard. Never beaten on quality and price. It's nice.
Right now, Tobagonians are just currying down to Bonaccord, right in Stobie Local Road. You know why? To come down and shop at Authentic Builders General Hardware, the only hardware store in Tobago that is giving you guys Trinidad prices. So for instance, such as steel, half-inch and 5/8, $7,895. 5/8 construction ply for $260. Every single thing that you will need to do your home renovation or start your new construction, we have it right here. And to get your quotation, it's very easy. Just WhatsApp us at 272-1990 and we will do your free WhatsApp quotation for you.
Are you flood ready? Review and update insurance coverage. Install floodgates and barriers. Create a family flood plan. An initiative to help people prevent, prepare, recover. Tatil, where people are people.
You can now get whatever you need whenever you need it anywhere in Tobago with Tobago. Your meals, medication, groceries, and shopping all delivered directly to you. No more hassle, no more stress. Get the Tobago app today on Google Play or Apple App Store.
That's TAPPOGO and let us deliver to you.
Check our website at www.tapogo.app or call the experts at 494-TOGO and 484-4746. Tobago. Relax. We will get it to you. Tobago's at your service.
Yeah. Hey. Tobago updates. Good morning, Tobago. Wake up with Candace and Denicia. Let's go.
Welcome back to Good Morning Tobago on Tobago Updates. Viewers, we are getting into some lighter conversations now. We are speaking with Mr. Sean Anthony, the manager of Jade Monkey Bar and Casino, and we are talking about a very special event coming up, celebrating a living legend, General Grant. Sorry. Good morning and welcome to you. How are you?
Good morning. Thank you. I'm good. Really happy to be here once again. Good morning to Tobago and to the wider world.
Mm-hmm. So tell me about why are we celebrating General Grant? Was it this weekend on Sunday?
On Sunday, correct.
Yes.
Yes, on Sunday. Well, he's the pioneer. He's one of the guys who brought the dancehall, the reggae kind of thing to Trinidad and Tobago and, of course, the Caribbean and so forth. And he has been consistent over the years. A lot of artists also emulated him as well. Mm-hmm. So I just thought it's fit that, before he goes on to his another life that we celebrate him before he gets there, you know?
Certainly, because I mean, we've been losing quite a lot of our icons within our cultural space, a lot over the past year or so. So it's really a good time to celebrate. So what are we going to be expecting on Sunday?
Well, of course, expecting a compact, entertaining show. He asked for his friends, which are Sasha, you know, well known to the entertainment and to the reggae fraternity. Prophet Benjamin, Garden Night, Tobago's own Ziggy Rankin. You know, and of course we'll have DJs as well. Trendsetter Goofy and Trends International is going to be there to give you some DJ entertainment as well.
And of course, a Jade Monkey.
Of course, the only place to be, the one and only, internationally known Jade Monkey.
Certainly internationally known. Yeah, you got that right. I mean, and tell me a bit about, you know, just what General Grant would have meant for you, just being somebody in this space and growing up with him and all that sort of thing.
Well, when he first came out, I was living abroad. I was living in Canada at the time, and I was like, "Who is this person?" You know, and over the years, you know, you keep hearing his music over and over and over, and I was like, you know, really impressive. And I finally got the chance to meet him when I returned back to Tobago. Back then, I was managing the Esplanade at the time, and I met him, and I was like, "Wow, you know, he's truly a nice person, truly somebody that I can have a good conversation with," and I was really impressed with his material. I mean, he has an extensive catalog of music, you know, so it's an honor for Jade Monkey Bar and Grill Casino to definitely honor Mr. Grant, you know, at this time.
And then what sparked being able to choose this time to celebrate him?
Well, you know, was vibes, you know, was just vibes. I was at work one day, and his daughter works with me, as a matter of fact. Yes. And honestly, true, my brother came in and he said, no, he feels to hear some General Grant. And we started playing some General Grant music, and I was like, wow, you know, we always honor people when they're dead, you know, so let me be the one to honor this man while he's alive, you know. And I called him and he said, yes, he's available. And then I called all his other friends and they were available. So I was like, you know what? This is the right time. This is the right. And he was impressed with the cast. Everybody's blown away by the cast. How could you get all those entertainers in one spot?
Space.
You know what I mean? And they were like, you know, $100 to get in on Sunday. And people said, $100? Yes. I mean, people still going through the whole COVID situation, then monies are tight and that kind of stuff. So, you know, we are Jade Monkey saying, you know what? Let's do the right thing. $100 to get in, and that's what it is. Yeah.
And you know, like, what time is going to start?
Okay. The doors open at 9 o'clock. At 9 o'clock, the doors open. You get tickets at Barcode, Pablo Supermarket in Argyle, Happy Place in Camby, and of course Jade Monkey Bar and Grill. Yeah.
So viewers, I mean, if you want to see, I mean, General Grant, I mean, like I said, it's just such a part of us, and like we a lot of times we don't, as you said, don't be able to celebrate people until they're gone. So do you think that this would be the start of celebrating more people within our space that has contributed?
Definitely. For Jade Monkey, yes. This is going to be the start of it. I will have in mind who the second person is going to be. You know, so we're trying to do it maybe every quarter. Every quarter let us celebrate the life of a living legend. Yes.
And you know what's been interesting about Jade Monkey? We've seen recently that you guys have diversified. So you haven't just been a bar and a casino down in the Crown Point area, but you have been branching off and doing other things, you know, with the carnival mass bands and so on. Now with these series, you know, I mean, just give me an idea of what goes on behind the scenes for these things.
Well, it's a lot. It's a lot. I mean, of course, you know, the brain keeps going. So you always come up with ideas to keep yourself, you know, active and to keep the brand relevant. You know, and we've been doing that with the casino as well, and as well with the bar, of course. It's just things to keep yourself occupied and keep the bar relevant. From the So Got to the Bone series for Carnival, for now this Living Legend series, and of course the Carnival Pride of the Bands which we have. Of course, log on to jademonkeymars.com to get all the information regarding the mass, Instagram and Facebook. You know, so it's just to keep the brand upon, safe, of course.
Yes.
I would say it's one of the safest bars in Tobago. Full security. You will get searched.
I
You will
mean,
get
it's par for the
searched.
course.
Yes, and and of course the regular police visit in Crown Point itself. In Crown Point, sorry to say, is a new entertainment hub of Tobago. So we just try to just do the right thing and just keep ourselves active and have the brand popping, as the young people would say.
I mean, and then we're looking forward for Carnival as well. What are you guys excited for it? How is it going? I know you guys were the first band to launch so far for the season.
Yes, and thanks, of course, to Tobago Updates. They carried. I mean, up to last night, people were calling and they were viewing the footage. Thanks to the entire staff at Tobago Updates. For supporting the Jade Monkey brand. We really appreciate that. The band, the online registrations are going good, really, really well. For some reason, we have a lot of international sign-ups, which is good, for them to come to Tobago and get that Tobago experience. So far, we're really happy of what's happening at this point.
Now, and I mean, as we're going to be celebrating General Grant on Sunday, are we going to also be seeing some more concerts coming out of Jade Monkey as you're leading up to Carnival?
Yes, for sure. Oh, yes. As I said, we have a couple of events carded, or boat ride, or breakfast party. We have a couple of stuff carded, but for sure, tune into Tobago Updates for all the information.
Details, yeah.
All the information.
And then in terms, because we know there were a whole lot of issues last year in terms of the planning for Carnival. But do you think, what are your impressions? I know you can't give away too much of details yet because there's still some decisions to be made or some things to come out to the public. But I mean, in terms of what's going on with the stakeholder engagement this time around, is there any difference?
Yes, I will say yes. I will say yes. I mean, I'm talking for myself and Jade Monkey. Last year was the first, so of course, they'll have little, things to tweak and that kind of stuff. But this year, a bit late still. I'm still thinking after Carnival, after the National Carnival, there should be some form of consultation early, to prepare the international guests. It's not like we here, we could just take a day off or 2 days off. Outside, you gotta give them a little 2 months, 3 months prior. And I think the committee, we met with a team from tourism and from festival on Thursday. And I was really impressed so far with what they bringing to the table. Some changes are going to be happening. I think it's good changes. I still think that we need to engage Caribbean Airlines, right, to bring on more flights onto the within that time frame. We are suffering, and we need that assistance from Caribbean Airlines for the Carnival period, because the international guests, the fact is, the international guest is not going to be going on standby in Trinidad. That's not going to happen. I mean, they're going to get frustrated. They're going to blast us. They're going to, so we urging, maybe do some Miami to Tobago, Toronto directly to Tobago, well, New York, they have already, Atlanta, and that kind of stuff too. So that way you kind of free up the space between Trinidad and Tobago, both Air Bridge and the Sea Bridge.
Certainly. And as we're getting ready to wrap the conversation, of course, we need to tell our viewers again about why we need to be at Jade Monkey on Sunday.
Well, this Sunday, of course, we'll be celebrating the living legend, the Outer National General Grant. We're going to be honoring him with some of his icons, or some of his friends in the business, in the likes of Ziggy Rankin, Garden Knight, Tobago's own, Prophet Benjamin, and Sasha. DJs, of course, Trendsetter Goofy and Jason G Artistry, Dreads International, $100, only $100, only. A Sunday evening, come out, early performances, get those open at 9 p.m. Get your tickets at Pablo in Argyle, Barcode, Scarborough, Happy Place in Camden, of course, Jade Monkey Bar and Grill.
And you can also pay at the door?
Correct, yes. If you want to call for full information, you can call 266-6626. That's 266-6626.
All right, there you have it, viewers. So you know where you need to be on Sunday. You need to be
At the
at
Jade
Jade
Monkey,
Monkey
yes.
Bar and Casino.
Correct.
Right, and just to be part of that this wonderful celebration of one of our own. So, viewers, I want to thank you, Sean, for being on with us and for sharing
Not a
us that
problem.
information. I'm really looking forward to see what happens
Thank
there.
you guys. Thanks to Big
Yeah.
Updates for the consistency and for the consistent of having us, keep the people abreast of what's happening at Gin Monkey.
Yes,
Thank you.
definitely. Partnerships are the way to go. So,
That's right.
all right, thank you so much, viewers. Certainly been a pleasure being here with you. So, a safe and wonderful day. We just got a lot happening on the weekend. I'm just going to say go Davies as we go into the weekend because we also celebrated Bishop's homecoming this weekend. So, yes, the yellow has nothing to do with politics, but has everything to do with Davies House from Bishop's High School. All right, so see you again on Monday and take care of yourself.